Welcome to today's Explainer. We are crossing a huge threshold today, moving completely away from basic, everyday AI usage and stepping into the really powerful world of designing reliable, autonomous agents. If you're ready to stop treating AI like a glorified search engine and actually start building customized, intelligent workflows that, really get work done, well, you are in exactly the right place.
Okay, let's dive into this. We have all been there, right? You type out a request, hit enter, and the AI spits back a completely useless, generic, just uninspired response. And your immediate reaction is usually frustration. You might sit there and think, well, the AI just isn't smart enough yet. But what if your AI agent isn't actually bad, but your instructions are? The hard truth is that bad output you're getting is very often a design flaw on our end, not a technology flaw.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with Section 1, Why Your AI Fails. 2. The Agent Prompt Paradigm. 3. The 7-part framework. 4. Constraints and outputs. 5. The testing loop. And finally, 6. Common mistakes.
Section 1. Why your AI fails, also known as the generic output problem.
Let's specifically tackle this generic output problem because honestly, it plagues so many users. When you give a basic command, the AI just completely lacks the specific parameters it needs to succeed at whatever task you're imagining in your head. Take a weak, vague command like research AI agents. The AI literally has to guess your intent, your target audience, your preferred format, the whole shebang. But if we upgrade this to something like act as a research analyst, investigate the topic, separate facts from assumptions, organize findings, and produce a report, boom. We instantly clarify the job. It completely transforms the AI from a confused intern into a highly focused professional.
And that brings us to our core definition. Prompt engineering is the process of designing instructions that help an AI model produce useful and predictable results. Notice that second half there, we're describing not only what to produce, but how to operate. Agentic prompt engineering goes way, way beyond just asking for a quick script or a dinner recipe. It's really about defining rules, granting access to tools, and establishing distinct roles.
Moving on to Section 2, the Agent Prompt Paradigm, System versus User.
Grasping this paradigm requires a pretty big mental shift in how we interact with software. Think of it through this analogy. A system instruction is basically the overarching job description. It tells the agent, you are a senior analyst, always verify claims, never expose private information. That sets up long-term overarching behavior. Meanwhile, the user instruction is simply today's assignment, like research AI trends. When you separate that overarching persona from the daily task, you can design these highly reusable, autonomous AI agents that you don't actually have to micromanage every single day.
All right, Section 3, the 7-part framework, RGCT-ROV.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it acts as a paint-by-numbers blueprint to completely systematically remove ambiguity. It takes the super abstract concept of agent autonomy and turns it into a logical, repeatable system. Let's walk through it together. R is for role. Who is the agent? G is goal. What exactly must it accomplish? C is context, like letting it know this research is for a beginner audience. T is tools. What external tools or databases can it tap into? R is rules. These are your constraints, things like do not invent stats. O is output. Do you want a paragraph, a JSON file, maybe a table? And finally, V is verification. How should it check its own work before ever presenting it back to you?
Let's look at how this builds into a fully fleshed out instruction in the real world. Act as a YouTube content agent. Generate 10 AI ideas for beginners. Avoid generic lists. Format with title, hook. Do not invent stats. Every single piece of that 7-part framework comes together right here to create a powerful, highly specific instruction. In just a few very efficient sentences, you've given it a role, a goal, context, rules, and an output format.
Section 4, Constraints and Structured Outputs.
Setting those boundaries is absolutely vital. A lot of people kind of assume that giving an AI total open-ended freedom yields the best results, but actually scratch that. We really need to rein it in to get any sort of predictability. You can lock in useful constraints like length, tone, target audience, format, deadline, and the exact number of outputs. And even more importantly, you can strictly define allowed tools, forbidden actions, and approval requirements. These rules are what keep the agent safe and on task. For instance, requiring human approval before the agent takes an external action, like say sending an email, is a totally non-negotiable safety constraint for business workflows. We have literally all experienced the absolute pain of receiving unstructured customer leads buried in a huge wall of unformatted text, right? It's incredibly frustrating. When an agent gives you unformatted data like this, it is practically useless for automated downstream systems. You just can't easily export it to your CRM or your spreadsheets without a ton of manual cleanup, which honestly completely defeats the whole purpose of using automation in the first place.
And this brilliantly illustrates the solution. Look at what happens when we clearly define the output format. Here we have the exact same data: company, industry, fit, and confidence, but it's formatted beautifully and cleanly into a table. By telling the agent exactly how to structure its output, you get clean, organized data that your other software systems can instantly read and process without missing a beat.
But beyond just structuring the final data, we also really need to program constraints for how the agent makes decisions along the way. Consider this absolutely crucial rule. If the required information is missing, ask the user for clarification. If reliable information is unavailable, state that clearly rather than guessing. By embedding these specific decision-making rules, we're literally programming our agents to actively avoid hallucinations and to act responsibly when they hit a wall or encounter the unknown.
Section 5. The prompt testing loop. Now, even with all these amazing rules, things won't be perfect on the very first try. A professional never just writes one single prompt, hits enter, and blindly assumes it's flawless. Prompt engineering is deeply, deeply iterative. You have to walk through these exact 6 steps to establish a reliable testing loop. Step 1. Write the prompt using the 7-part framework we just talked about. Step 2. Test it with realistic everyday inputs. Step 3. Find the failure points, like where did the AI get confused or go off script. Step 4. Improve the instructions to patch up those holes. Step 5. Test it again. And finally, step 6, save that successful version. You must run this loop to ensure your agent is truly robust.
Section 6. Common prompting mistakes. As you start running that testing loop, you'll definitely start to notice patterns in why things break. We want to identify these pitfalls right now so you don't accidentally sabotage your own agents. Try your best to avoid these common mistakes: being way too vague, giving contradictory instructions, lacking a defined output format, expecting the AI to just magically know missing context, skipping the testing phase entirely, and giving unnecessary permissions. Frankly, trusting an untested AI with unnecessary autonomy is a pretty brilliant way to accidentally email your personal grocery list to your entire client database. So keep your instructions tested, keep those outputs structured, and always keep your permissions tight.
So the absolutely crucial point to take away from all this is that a genuinely powerful AI agent isn't just about having the smartest, newest model. It's about giving whatever model you use a clear job, useful context, and impeccably designed instructions. You now have the full RGCT ROV framework right in your hands. The only question left is, which agent, are we talking a research, study, business, or email assistant, are you going to build and test first? Pick one, apply the framework, and I guarantee you are going to be amazed at what your AI can actually accomplish for you. Keep building, keep testing, and I'll see you in the next explainer.